Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. My name's David. I have some new clarity that I'd love to share with you regarding truth. Each of us, we kind of have our own experience and our own journey, and we've gone through a lot and we've experienced a lot. And experience is everything. Talk is cheap. Experience is everything. You got to experience it. So we create this truth and we create facts, so to speak. That happened to me, and that really happened, and that happened, and this is the way that is. And it gets very confusing because we believe that the past is full of facts. This is tricky because, okay, let's say the past is full of facts. I mean, as a matter of fact, we teach it in our school, right? The past, history. This really happened, this really happened, this really happened, this really happened. Well, now we have an issue because, well, two things. One, sometimes those facts, when we listen to them, they don't feel good. So that tells you right there that your inner being, that broader perspective, remember our guidance system, if it doesn't feel good, our inner being is saying, no way, we don't agree with you. So if you're thinking about something in the past that happened that doesn't make you feel good, your inner being is saying, that's not true. Now that's interesting. The past is true. The past is true. The past is true. Now the inner being doesn't agree with you because because your guidance system and your emotions tell you that it's not. It doesn't believe you. So now you guys are not on the same track. Now the other idea here is that we're interpreters of our reality. So we're interpreting everything with a negative or a positive perspective. So you can look at anything in a negative way and see what's missing in it. And you can look at anything in a positive way and see what's there, including the past. And this is so important to understand. The past holds nothing but a perspective. Everything in your past, you have the ability to re-look at it and find it in a positive way or to find it in a negative way, right? To piggyback off that last video. It's interpretation. This is what creation is. It's this understanding that nothing is solid, nothing is permanent. It's all being interpreted. And I recommend looking at things in your past and saying, how can I see that in a positive way? How can I see it in a negative way? And watch it switch and change. As Bashar would say, you create your past from your now. There's no past that has any meaning at all. And yes, it is the past that holds us hostage. It keeps us where we're at, reminds us of certain things. It seems to put us in a prison. But we put ourselves in that prison because we interpret the past the same way over and over again, based on what we believe was real, which is not true. It's a belief system that sees it in a negative way, something missing, and now we believe it to be true. And we say, well, it is what it is. It's done, and I can't change it, so now I just have to feel it. Does that make sense? It's not true. And it's the same thing with the future. You can interpret the future in a positive way, seeing what's coming, seeing what's there, or you can interpret it in a way where it's not. Something's not coming, and what if this happens, and I can't believe this. And we believe we're looking out at a real world that is either happened, or could happen, and we're kind of just like looking at it and talking about it. Does that make sense? That we're looking at it, observing it, and talking about what we see is there. But can I convince you that you're actually creating it through your thoughts and your talking and your feeling, not looking at what's already there? This is so important to understand. Helped me so much in my life, and I started realizing that nothing's coming back to me. It's coming from me. The world is coming from you. You're the interpreter. You're the center of it. You're creating it. Regardless of how it looks, if you just get behind this and recognize that you can reinterpret things over and over and over, rather if it's your past, future, then you will start getting more and more proof of what I'm saying. That there is no world of meaning out there. You're giving it all its meaning. That's why I say you're the center of the world. You're the end-all, be-all. You're the power in your life. Do you see what I'm saying? Because we have energy of source. It's a positive energy, loving energy, kind, happy energy. And it is interpreting everything, including if you look at your past, it will interpret that. Your future, it will interpret that. Your present moment, it will interpret that. That part of you is interpreting everything based on positive flow, love, peace, and joy. And when you start looking at your past or your future or anything else and see it in some way, it's missing something in a negative way, you're not going to agree with it, and you pinch that energy off. Does that make sense? Now, it's not like we're going to see everything in a perfect way that matches that energy. Fair enough, okay? So we know that. But as we don't see it and we feel that negative emotion, the key is to say, how can I see it? What's another option? What's another way to see this, to see it more clear of how it's supposed to be seen, how my inner being is seeing it? We're catching up to it. Does that make sense? So we're going to find contrast. We're going to find negative emotion, and then our goal is to catch up to it, catch up to it, catch up to it. And then as you catch up to it and let you recognize, if I'm looking at it in a way that doesn't match the bigger part of me, and I'm looking at it in a negative way, there must be another way to see it. And then you start realizing, oh, this belief needs to go, or the way I'm defining it needs to go in order for me to see it in another way. Does that make sense? And that becomes the fun, because now in the moment you get to redefine your life. You get to redefine it. Like, for example, one of the things that I learned is that when people get angry and frustrated, reactive, right? You ever know someone who just gets really reactive over everything, and they get angry and they just blow up? Boy, that's no fun, right? You ever want to just push at them, right? Especially through my journey of learning how to wake up and then not becoming reactive. And then when someone else gets reactive, I find myself going, well, if you do it this way, you would let this go, trying to help them or push against them and say, you know what, you aren't working hard enough. And if you did this, you would feel better. And you aren't doing this. Anyone ever felt that? You want to change them through the blame? Well, that's a reflection. I've learned that they're reflecting back what I used to be, or rather, what I still am, but maybe suppressing a little bit. Does that make sense? When someone reacts and it gets you angry, it's because they're reflecting back to you yourself. Everything's reflection. So from that, it's real easy to go down in that magnetic trip and get angry and frustrated. And usually I've learned that I see them two ways. One, I blame them. And two, I want to get away from them. Does that sound familiar? I want to either change them or get away from them. Remember, fighting is getting them away from you. Anger, frustration is trying to push something away from you. Can you feel it? It's a release. You see, it's not an embracing and a love and appreciation. Your inner being is always loving and embracing and appreciating. It's never going to push anything away. It's a creator. Why would it push anything away? It can just simply make another decision and embrace that and let it go. Do you see? So when we try to push things away and get angry and frustrated over something that's reacting or something we don't enjoy or something we don't like, that's a reflection to let us know that we're seeing it incorrectly. Does that help a little bit? So now, the inner being will always see a person reactive and angry or frustrated as someone who doesn't have love for themselves. Does that make sense? What a different way of thinking. They don't see him as angry and a threat. There's nothing threatening anything. There's no threat. But there is someone who needs love and appreciation. So when we get angry and frustrated, think about what we're looking for. We're stuck. We're not allowing Source to move through us, and Source is our love. Source is our supply of life. As we pinch that off, we feel like we need it. And where usually we need it from the other person or something in front of us that's not giving it to us. Do you see? So the more I started switching how I see things to be more like Source, understanding that when someone's angry or frustrated or negative, it's because they're looking for love, not because they're coming at me. You see? And that switches that reflection in the mirror. And now, since I don't see them as a threat, I just give them love, or I give them space, or I support them. Okay, if you want to be angry, I'll even support you into be angry. I'll let you be angry, frustrated, or I'll let you be happy, or I can offer you love or appreciation of the solution. If you don't receive it, then I support you in your anger and your frustration. You see, and then it becomes easier to let people go, because ultimately they're just reflecting back you. And when we get that and we finally let that go, you'll let them be as they are. And I can assure you that the only thing that's standing in the way of your enlightenment, which just simply means the moment of bliss and fun and joy and everything flowing in and things that are new and healing and prosperity and so forth and so on is other people's reactions that are reflecting back to you and causing triggers. Does that make sense? Causing you to trigger yourself by looking at them. So that guidance system lets us know right off the bat, I'm seeing this incorrectly. That's first and foremost. I feel negative here. I feel a push here. I feel like something I don't like. Can I stop for a second and say, I'm not seeing this correctly? Then you go into a place of saying, well, I'm seeing an attack on me, when in reality, I should be seeing something that needs my love. Can you see the difference? It's a switch. The more you get that, the more you'll be able to give it to them. And if you can't, that's okay too. Just once again, move into somewhere else and look for something positive. Remember, positive allows flow of source to come through you. You can't look at something that's missing and allow source to come through you. You'll never agree with lack or loss because everything's connected. Does that make sense? There's no missing. There's no loss. There's no lack. There's no death from the perspective of source. When we see it, we block our energy. The only thing that matters is your energy flowing, nothing else. Not right or wrong. You make up your own truth anyway. You make up all the things in your life. Remember, you can change your past from the present moment. You can change your future from the present moment. Everything's now, now, now. So therefore, the only thing that matters is your energy flowing. Are you feeling good? Are you satisfied? Are you joyful? Do you see? Or are you bothered by outside attractions, outside attachments? Does that make sense? Because that outside can push against us. But remember, the more you recognize, I'm seeing this incorrectly, I can make another choice here. And I know it based on my emotions, based on my guidance system. I feel threat. A threat always means that there's something that needs your love. If you're feeling the threat of something in your body, pain, instead of saying, oh, I'm getting hurt, say, it needs my love. Does that make sense? I need to allow it to release, not to try to change it. You see, relax it, send it love and appreciation. Recognize it's there to tell you where to let go of some tension in your mind. You see, that's what it's there, not in your body, in your mind. How can I let go of some tension? What am I judging right now? What am I thinking right now? What am I feeling? And do I have to think it or feel it? Can I change how I'm thinking and feeling? I get to decide what my truths are. Do you see? And I can allow my truths to match the truths of my inner being, which simply says only love is real. And if someone is not showcasing love, then they need love. You see? That's it. Feel the circle? You see? They need love. You feel it, you give it to them, and then all of a sudden you flow. So we have threat from outside pushing against us. Always is an indicator to let you know that they're asking for your love because they aren't able to receive the love of their own source. They've cut it off because of something they're focused on. Does that make sense? Really easy when you think about it. And now they need it from you. Now, you don't have to give it to them, but isn't it nice to know that that's what's going on? And the more you recognize, oh, they need my love, not they're trying to attack me, you'll switch the mindset over to that of source and you will find your peace, not disturbed. Regardless if you give it to them or not, you might just move on somewhere else, but you won't be disturbed. Your peace will never be disturbed. And peace is the most important thing. Keeping that perspective in a place of love and not attack. The more you see them as attacking you, the more your peace will be disturbed. The more you'll pick up their energy and the more you'll block your own energy and try to change them or change something else. Do you understand? And then it just takes you down into the mind and so forth and so on. So the peace is all that matters. Always use your guidance system. Recognize, are they being loving to me or do they need my love because they're missing it? And the more you see the world, anger, frustration, or whatever it is, as someone missing love, and you recognize that through compassion, and you recognize they're not doing it on purpose. They're doing it unknowingly because they don't know that they get to create everything in their life. And now you have more compassion for them, more love and appreciation for them. And now you're going to feel it immediately. Trust me when you go there, because if you just pay attention to how you feel in your heart center, you'll see your energy will start releasing because you're seeing it as your inner being sees it now. And that's the name of the game. Makes sense. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, it is up to you what you receive. Hit the like button if you're enjoying these videos. Keep the comments coming and make sure to subscribe. And as always, my unconditional love and appreciation.